What if the American dream came with a curse? In Rosario, 2025, a high-powered Wall Street broker finds herself locked in a snowbound apartment with a corpse, a cauldron full of human remains, and a family legacy soaked in blood. At first glance, it's just another horror movie dabbling in voodoo and jump scares. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find something much darker. A story about generational trauma, spiritual debt, and the terrifying cost of success. You might have left the theater confused. Was Rosario cursed or protected? Who really summoned the demon? And what does that final horrifying moment actually mean? Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. This video is your guide to unraveling it all, from the family secrets hidden in plain sight to the real reason Rosario may never escape her fate. So buckle in, because what started as a family visit quickly becomes a descent into ancestral horror, a haunting that begins at childhood. The story begins at a pivotal childhood moment, Rosario's communion. Her grandmother Griselda whispers something peculiar. She says that their beliefs aren't the same. That one line sets the tone for everything that follows. Griselda's hand is bleeding during the event, which seems strange and symbolic, but no one questions it. This small detail is key. It's a visual sign that Griselda is deeply involved in something spiritual, possibly sacrificial, and that it's already affecting Rosario in ways she doesn't yet understand. These moments, though subtle, hint at a deeper spiritual world hiding beneath the surface of everyday life. Flash forward several years, and Rosario has grown into a high-powered Wall Street broker, fully assimilated into a life of wealth and ambition. She's living the American dream on the surface, but is emotionally disconnected from her family roots. Then, everything begins to unravel. She gets a call from her grandmother, except Griselda is already dead. Stuck in a massive snowstorm, Rosario ends up spending the night at her late grandmother's apartment, alone with the corpse. From here, the horror unfolds. The apartment is crawling with insects. There's something profoundly wrong, not just in the physical decay, but in the eerie atmosphere. Rosario begins to see disturbing things: worms crawling from the corpse, bloody symbols, and a hidden chamber that changes everything. Griselda's sacrifice, curse or protection? In that secret room, Rosario finds a cauldron containing a photo of her as a child, human teeth, a skull, and knives. Alongside these disturbing objects are symbols that lead her to research Palo, an Afro-Caribbean religion rooted in the Congo belief system. Shaped during the Atlantic slave trade, Palo involves communication with spirits, and its followers collect wooden sticks, palos, used in sacred rituals. Central to this religion is the belief in light and darkness, balance and consequence. Palo isn't just folklore in this movie, it's the key to understanding everything. What Rosario thought was a curse turns out to be something else entirely. At first, she believes her grandmother put a deadly spell on her, but soon she learns that Griselda had been protecting her all along. The deity involved? Kobayende, a powerful spirit in the Palo tradition. Through more discoveries and an ominous conversation with her neighbor Joe, Rosario pieces the puzzle together. Griselda wasn't trying to punish her. She was bleeding herself dry, literally every day, to keep Kobayende satisfied and Rosario safe. It wasn't hate, it was love, expressed through sacrifice. Griselda's pact wasn't a curse, but a shield. The spellbook Rosario finds isn't an instrument of revenge. It's a desperate tool of preservation. But now that Griselda is dead, the protection is gone. Kobayende has come to collect. This twist redefines the entire first half of the film. What we thought were signs of haunting were really signals of a debt coming due. A deal made long ago is now falling apart. Confronting the demon, Kobayende strikes back. Now fully immersed in her grandmother's spiritual world, Rosario attempts to complete a ritual that could end the demonic threat. She places Griselda's body at the center of the room, uses the cauldron and the spellbook, and tries to appease or bind Kobayende. But it's not that easy. The demon attacks, using telekinetic powers, vomiting acidic bile, and sending phantom hands to drag her from under the bed. At one point, Rosario finds her mother's spirit, who momentarily comforts her, only to turn cold and accusatory. She blames Rosario for abandoning both her and Griselda before revealing herself to be Kobayende in disguise. It's a psychological and spiritual assault. Rosario has to face not just physical danger, but generational guilt and self-hatred. The ghost of her mother, the demonic impersonation, and her own regrets converge in this terrifying moment. In a last-ditch effort, Rosario binds Kobayende's spirit to Griselda's body. The spell succeeds, and just as she finishes, medics arrive, finally able to reach the building. They don't find Griselda's body because Rosario hides in the secret chamber. The storm clears. The power returns. The horror is over. At least, that's what Rosario thinks. The real pact maker revealed. After the medics leave, Rosario flips through her family album and makes a shocking discovery. A photo of her parents where Oscar, her father, has a bleeding hand. That's when it all clicks. Oscar made the original pact with Kobe. Flashbacks show the painful immigration journey Oscar, Elena, and Griselda took into the United States. Elena was 3 months pregnant, suffering through freezing nights to make it across the border. It was a trauma that haunted her and led to the fracture between her and Oscar, and eventually with Rosario. Oscar couldn't forgive himself. At Rosario's communion, he sneaked into Griselda's spiritual chamber and made a pact with Kobe for Rosario's success and protection. Griselda discovered the act and took on the burden herself, sacrificing her blood each day so Rosario would never suffer the demon's wrath. Now, Oscar returns to the chamber, fully aware that the burden is back on him. He bleeds into the cauldron, trying to resume the pact, but Kobe immediately possesses him. Possessed, Oscar becomes a terrifying force. He tries to burn Rosario alive, echoing the earlier ritual flames, but is interrupted by Joe, the next-door neighbor who only wanted his air fryer back. Joe saves Rosario, only to be killed in the process. His neck snapped, but his delay is enough. Rosario grabs a blade and stabs Oscar in the neck, killing him and breaking the spirit's physical form once more. It's Rosario's second horrifying battle in a single day, and her second kill. But even with Kobe apparently destroyed again, we're left to wonder if something even darker is at play. 6 months later. Is it really over? The final scene jumps 6 months into the future. Rosario seems to have returned to her old life. She's working again, advising her driver on investments, and now keeps a photo of her family in her office. She even prays for their peace, suggesting a new sense of reverence and reflection. But the peace is short-lived. She begins coughing violently. The vibrations are so intense that the glass frame of the family portrait shatters. A demonic hand crawls out of her mouth, echoing earlier scenes with Griselda and the worms. It's a shocking image, and an ambiguous one. So what does it all mean? This final moment can be interpreted in a few ways. 1. Rosario may now be the vessel for Kobe. The original pact never truly ended. It merely passed hands, from Oscar to Griselda, back to Oscar, and now to Rosario. The entity has finally claimed its due, inhabiting the one person it was always circling. 2. Rosario may have unknowingly sealed her own fate by engaging in the rituals herself. When she used the cauldron and the spell book, she didn't just fight back, she participated. She might have activated a new bond with Kobe that can't be undone. 3. The entire ordeal could be a metaphor. Rosario is now the embodiment of generational trauma, haunted not by demons, but by the unhealed wounds of her family history. The demon hand is the final expression of guilt, of spiritual inheritance, of sacrifice passed down through bloodlines. Ultimately, Rosario tries to explore the darker side of ambition, immigration, and identity. It's about what people are willing to sacrifice for a better future, and what haunts them when those sacrifices are never acknowledged. Rosario's family gave everything to reach a land of opportunity. Her father made a deal with a spirit to ensure her success. Her grandmother gave her blood to protect that deal. And in the end, Rosario herself is left to face the price. The horror isn't just supernatural, it's generational. Our nerdy thoughts. The question now is, can Rosario ever be free? Or will she carry the burden of her family's past forever? Thanks for watching. If this breakdown helped clarify the eerie and confusing final moments of Rosario, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more in-depth horror analyses, and drop your theories in the comments. Was Rosario doomed from the start? Did she become the next vessel for Kobe? Or is she trapped in a cycle of spiritual debt that no one can escape? Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and maybe keep that air fryer nearby. You never know when it might save your life.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.